Hi, I'm Laura Slade. I write sci-fi and fantasy for LGBTQIA plus young adults. Today I want to talk about writing fears. Oh, and I'm sorry that I'm posting this a little bit late. I've had a crazy busy week and I didn't want to fail myself and not get this out, so here it is. So I made a poll on Twitter to figure out what writers feared the most. The winning two were failure and fear of judgment and criticism, and then taking risks came in last. So first up, I want to talk about judgment and criticism. Now, at some point, you are going to have to expose your work to criticism. Criticism can only make your story better for its future readers. Did your stomach just flutter at the thought of having future readers? If it did, that's awesome. That's a really good thing, because that means that at some point you will want to share it with people, and you can't let that dread of them not liking it stop you. And it sounds really scary, and you bet your ass that it is scary. But the feeling you get when you finally do share it with someone else and they get to read it, that's just a taste of what it's like when you have readers reading it for real. If you're working on your first draft, chances are it's going to need a lot of work. Don't let that discourage you. That can all be done later. Just get through your first draft with your head held high, because a lot of people can't even say that they've done that. Another thing to remember is that if your work is getting critiqued, it's not you that's getting critiqued. It's your words, your ideas, your story. And anything that they say most of the time is only going to make your work better. And you want your story to be the best that it can be, right? Don't be afraid to let other people see you, the real you, the stories that you have inside of yourself. If you're afraid that when you write this chapter or this scene, it's going to give people too much of a glimpse of how you truly feel or who you really are. That's the whole point of this writing thing, is to be able to share your story. Your job is to make them feel, to entertain them, to take them to another place in the form of story. And if you're coming from the heart, and if you wept when you wrote that scene, or you were laughing when you wrote that scene, and it came from a place deep inside of you, that's going to be awesome. And it's not going to make you weak. It's not going to make you vulnerable. It's just going to make the story better. So don't be afraid to let the person reading your work feel how you have felt. Does that make sense? Okay, the next thing is failure. Failure. You're getting kind of nervous just thinking about failure, aren't you? You may be afraid of failing yourself or failing others, but don't let that stop you from even trying. Failure is this terrifying word, but the crazy thing is that its power is in how you define it. The definition of failure is lack of success. Let me tell you a secret. Failure relies completely on your definition of success. So if success is being able to show people your work, you can totally do that. If success is finishing your first draft, you can do that too. Now, it's okay to have big ideas for success that you can eventually get to. If you have an idea of success that you haven't reached yet, think about this. Have you given yourself enough time? Do you work a full-time job? Do you have children, pets, a partner, a spouse, whatever? Do you have a lot of shit on your plate? Maybe you just haven't had the time to reach that level of success that you're looking for yet. Yeah, you might get there someday. Now, if you do fail, what did you learn for next time? Like, what would you do differently? What would you do the same? Each time you don't meet a goal and you don't succeed, that's just a chance to try again. And guess what? You get to try again and again and again and again until you do succeed. So it's not really failure, it's a learning experience. It's something you should be proud of, because most people don't even try. So there's this quote, and I'm such a nerd for, doing this to y'all, but let me look it up. There's a quote from A Song of Ice and Fire, and Bran asks his dad, can a man be brave if he's afraid? And Ned Stark says that's the only time a man can be brave. So I take this as if you are afraid of something and you do it anyway, that makes you super, super, super brave. And that's something that you should be proud of. Okay, so for the bonus, I was going to talk about taking risks. I want to tell you a story about a girl who was always scared of everything. It's me. I was always so uncertain of everything that I did. I hated roller coasters. I was terrified of the dark. I had watched this Goosebumps episode where like slime came out of the toilet, and so every time I would flush, I would just be terrified for like, I don't know, like a month. But one thing that really changed my life was when I went skydiving. Of course, I'm attached to somebody, but if I were to jump out of an airplane, then I could do anything. Like that was my thinking. So risks come in many forms, but I chalk it all up to uncertainty. So let's say you want to write a story with 6 character point of views coming from the third person. That was what I signed up for when I started my first draft, and it was so freaking scary, y'all. And once I got about halfway through my manuscript, I really started reconsidering, like, I'm doing way too much for my first draft of anything besides poetry ever. I was beside myself because I had set this goal to finish something, to do my first draft, and I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it because it was too hard. It took me around 9 months from when I started my first draft to finish it. So if you want to write for adults, write for adults. If you want to write for young adults, write for young adults. If you want to write for the LGBTQIA plus community, do it. Go with your gut. Your gut is usually right, and you're a writer, so trust your freaking instincts, okay? It is your story, so only you will know what's best for it. I had a lot of fun talking to y'all about fear and failure and judgment and criticism and taking risks. Oh, I wanted to tell y'all about Twitter. If y'all have any questions for me, or y'all want to talk to me or kind of get to know more about me, just follow me on Twitter. I'm at Laura_Slate, and yeah, I'm on there all the time. I have other links to social media like right down here below. If I forgot anything, I can always do another video on writing fears. If you want me to, just let me know. Also, if you have any suggestions for future vlogs, please let me know and I will totally do one, maybe if I like the idea. Bye!